look back and I would be so worried about what people would think about me, and I got tired of doing that, but it was like that made me feel like I had to be perfect all the time. It was like, you got to be perfect. Make sure you're smiling. Make sure you look good. Make sure you lose weight. Make sure and I'm like, I can't do this. I cannot do what everybody else wants me to do. Like, they're not living my life and they're not me. And if you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't.
And I think that that's why, direction is more important than speed. And I think for the social media space too,
Yes.
for people understanding that, like, you don't know what the year 1, the year 2, the year 3, the year 4, year 5. People probably have businesses for, a decade plus or
Absolutely.
whatever it may be. So it's just like, yeah, your year 1 may not look like another person's year 1, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But you have to also ask yourself, like, what are the things I'm not doing, and take inventory of yourself.
I don't know. It's not even necessarily people pleasing, but it's just, I'm always thinking about everybody else before myself. And I'm learning that, sometimes like boundaries need to be set, for my own peace. And that's just like in all aspects of life.
The harder you grind, the bigger you dream.
The harder you grind,
The bigger you dream.
Hey,
The harder you grind,
the bigger you dream.
Whoa, whoa.
The harder you grind,
The bigger you dream.
The harder
the harder you grind, the bigger you dream.
Let's get it, let's go.
The harder you grind, the bigger you dream. The harder you grind, the bigger you dream. The harder you grind, the bigger you dream. I said the harder you grind, the bigger you dream. I said you're up and I'm up. Y'all now tuned in to the Grind Hard Dream Big Show. The harder you grind, the bigger you dream. I got a special guest in the building. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the people.
Hey, everybody. My name is SherellRowe.
How you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling
Okay.
good. Besides this heat, but yeah, I feel good.
Okay. So for the people that don't know, like, where were you born? Where were you raised?
So I was born in Honolulu, Hawaii. My father was a Marine for 23 years. We ended up in the DMV area. I pretty much grew up in the DMV area. We lived all over. I came here from Japan, but we moved here because he got stationed in Quantico. So, and then I just made this my home. Well, I'm not gonna say I did. My parents did, but.
For sure. So, like, I guess your, like, upbringing, like, the childhood, like, did you have any like, hobbies? Like, what was, like, school life?
I was very much a tomboy growing up, so I used to play ball. I was always like athletic. I always wanted to play with the boys, like whatever the boys was doing. I wanted to be outside playing football, playing basketball, soccer, anything, slap boxing. So yeah, that was mostly my thing growing up.
For sure. And I feel like, in the childhood is like, exploring all of these things. I guess, like, did you find yourself, like, talented, taking it serious, or was it just like a hobby or something to do?
I honestly, as a child, most of the stuff was it's really hobbies. I didn't really know what I wanted to do as a child. And then when I discovered that I actually had a voice, it was the weirdest thing ever, you know what I mean? And even still, it took me a long time to really accept that singing could even really be a thing.
Got you, for sure. So as you, like, maneuver through, like, the early childhood, now it's like, I guess, teen years in, like, high school, like, how was, like, the high school life and stuff like that?
I got into a lot of trouble in high school. Always fighting. I lived a completely different life than what I live now, but it was just really just trying to find myself. I just got into a lot of mischief. I had fun as a teenager. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say that I regret anything that I did, because, like, my childhood, I was all about having fun. And I was going to live it up to the fullest. I've always just wanted to live and dance by my own drum. My mom used to always say, since I was a little kid, that I always just wanted to do what I wanted to do. By the time I was able to walk and figure out, like, how to put my clothes on, I just wanted to put my clothes on by myself. I wanted to go to the bathroom by myself. I wanted to, and my mom was like, you were just such an easy child to work with because you always wanted to do everything yourself. You didn't want anybody telling you how to do something. And I'm still like that to this day.
Okay. That's what's up. I feel like, in early adolescence and stuff like that, like, it's kind of, you shift and you trying to find different things. And I know, like, high school is, like, pivotal years and things like that.
Yeah.
So, like, did you have, like, any, like, favorite subjects, things like that, like, in school? Because, school be school, and it's different now, as we all obviously know.
Yeah, it's definitely different. I mean, I didn't really have any favorite subjects. I had subjects that I really excelled at, like English and, the stuff that came natural to me. Math was not really the greatest subject for me. I didn't really like it. But I honestly, like, I really wasn't interested. And I hate to say this, because please stay in school and get your education. But I always had this mentality that I don't know, like whatever I was gonna do, I'm gonna be able to do it regardless. If I wanted to learn something, I was gonna learn it. It wasn't gonna take a piece of paper to tell me that I could do something that I wanted to do. So no, I didn't really have a favorite subject. You know, I went to school to socialize.
No, that's pretty fair. I feel like a lot of people did that, right? Like I ain't gonna lie, like me, I loved reading and writing and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But like math, I hated math.
Yeah.
Like me and geometry,
Yeah.
we was beefing like real bad.
Yeah.
I did not like that.
Yeah.
So like I definitely get that. And then I feel like with school it brings like, you know, structure and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
like for myself, going to private school, then going to public school is a complete shift.
Yeah.
You know, you see structure, then you don't see structure. Now you
Yeah.
gotta like
And-
critically think and all this.
And I was an honor roll student all the way up until I got to high school, and that's when I just started getting into a lot of mischief. And honestly, I graduated. I graduated a year early at that, and then after that, I was done. I mean, I had the option to go to college if I wanted to, but I just was like, I'm done after high school. I don't want to, you know. So
Got you. So as you kind of like pivot from that to like adulthood now, like, oh
Yeah.
wow, I'm an adult. Like
Yeah.
it's real now. Like no more school. Like
yeah.
how was that like early in the stages for you?
I mean, I feel like when it comes to life, I just feel that experiences is really what shapes who you are and who you grow into. And then like everything is about decisions and options, right? Like the choices that you make. And every choice that you make is going to lead down a different path. And those things are, and it's not saying there's a wrong or right, but those things are ultimately going to shape who you are and how you function as an adult.
For sure. So I guess like walking into like, you know, your niche or finding your purpose, like how is that experience for you? Like what was it like? You felt like, all right, you know what, this is the thing I want to do. Cause you know, a lot of us can sit on a lot of ideas or a
Yeah.
lot of gifts or things like that. So like what was it like the early stages of that? And like when did you know like, okay, you know what, I arrived?
The thing about being a creative, it is so hard to really pinpoint one thing that you want to do. And I know that society tends to try to stick you into this box, right? It's just like, well, you're good at this, so you stick to that and you hone in on that and you do that. And that's fine. But then there are other things also at the same time. It's just like, well, I want to kind of like this too, you know. And as you get older, you go through different stages in your life, because like the 20-year-old me was different from the 25-year-old me. You know, you start wanting to experience other things on top of that. So like I tried so many different things. I never really knew what I wanted to do. One thing I did was for sure that I loved was music. I've always loved music. I love writing. I love singing. I love being in the studio. Everything about music. And I tell people, like for me, music it's definitely an art form. So like the way that an artist, like a painter, would look at a painting, like if you paint a rose, an artist can look at that rose and see every single detail of that rose, the shadowing, the color of the petals, the leaves, and everything. That's literally how I hear and see music, with all the backgrounds and the harmonies and the lyrics and the delivery of the emotion. Like that's how I see music. So that's always been one of the most comfortable things that I've always gotten in. And then after that, it was just like a bunch of other things that I started doing, like radio and hosting and now acting. And I've tried so many different.
That's what's up though. I think like you sat there and said, like when it comes to having multiple gifts, you don't know unless you try, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, like for myself, I knew that, you know, like poetry and like writing raps, that was a thing for me. Like I loved doing that and I still do it to this day. And it can be therapeutic as well. And then
Yeah.
it's like, okay, now you step into that. Now it's like, okay, well, you have a voice. So now it just looks different. It's like elevation. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
this is a certain chapter of this is a certain chapter of that, this is a certain chapter of that. So
Mhm.
like, I guess how did you find the way to like utilize it all? Because I know sometimes it's like, okay, well, I got this gift, I got this gift, I got
Yeah.
this gift,
Yeah.
but I don't know where I'm driving this thing to.
Yeah, it kind of just started falling together on its own. Because like I said, for a long time, I just didn't know what direction I really wanted to go in. I just kept getting pulled in all of these different directions. So it was like, I didn't know what I was going to do ultimately, how things were going to turn out. But like now I'm learning, the more I get into turning off all the noise and not focusing on what society says that your life should look at or look like, and just really getting in tune with myself, being on my spiritual journey. And I just start following my intuition and what feels right to me, I'm starting to learn that like my part of my purpose is self-mastery, which means that it's going to be me trying a bunch of different stuff, self-mastery in healing. And then I'm going to end up using a lot of those things because a lot of knowledge and wisdom comes with that when you try different things, right? And then I'm going to be able to use that and help other people.
For sure. I think that's definitely dope. I think, I think life is definitely a self-discovery. Like you're always trying to, be better than the next day, better than the next, the next month, the next year, things like that. And I'm glad that you said spirituality as well, because I think, tapping into, we can't create unless we tap into the creator.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's the biggest thing. And I think that.
But you are creation.
Yeah, we are creation. Yeah. And I think that the more in tune you are within yourself, then the outside doesn't matter. So I'm glad that you sat there and said that, because my younger self, I sit there and look at the outside like, oh yeah, well, what do they want? What do they need?
Yes.
Then you sit there and you rush, and then you find yourself people pleasing, doing all these other things, and it's like, okay, well, I was on go for them. I need to be on go for me.
And you still feel like something is missing, you know what I mean, a lot of times, because you're really doing it because that's what everybody expects of you.
Right.
I just always had this mentality. I can, as long as I can remember, it's just like, I just want to do what I want to do. I don't, you know what I mean? I could never shake it. I'm like, I know that y'all want me to do this, and I'm told I'm good at this, and you should try this, but I'm like, I just want to do what I want to do.
Right.
And I'm going to see where it goes. And I know that it's not conventional. And I know a lot of people looked at me like I was crazy. Like, Sherell, what are you doing with your life? Now you're doing this. Like, oh, I have had so many different side hustles. And they're like, well, what are you doing now? What don't you do? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm just trying.
Yeah.
Trying different things.
Yeah, I think that's the creator in you, and just wanting to be able to do that, and then I guess doing things, on your terms. Because like I said, for me, I love sports, so I love like football, basketball, boxing, but helping kids, I never see it.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, now that this actually has happened, I've walked into it because God is like, no, this is what I called you to do, and that's what I'm actually seeing, because it's like, it doesn't feel like work. It's like, no, this is your calling.
I'm happy, and I stepped out of that whole rat race of chasing the money, and that was one of the scariest things for me, because also, we got bills, right? And and you still have to live your life, but there was like, no matter how many, I've always had really good jobs, making really good money, and I was miserable at those jobs. And it wasn't because of the job itself. The jobs were never that hard, you know what I mean? But it was just something in me was like, this is not my life. Why am I here? Like, I can't every day, I'd have to give myself a pep talk, even going inside the job. And so it was just something deep inside of me. It's like, this can't be my life. I don't want to live my life like this. So I just took a chance, and I stepped outside of that rat race, and I'm like, I'm not chasing the money no more. I'm really just going to follow my intuition, and I'm going to do what feels right. And yeah, it has sucked, because like the income that I was used to having was not exactly what it was anymore, but I was so much happier. I've been so much happier, so I really don't miss that 9-to-5 hustle.
Yeah, I think
I wouldn't trade it for the world.
That's dope. I think it's important, that you chase your passion, and you, like I said, like understanding that you have peace within. I think a lot of people are like, yo, you got to go find peace. It's like, no, like once you know that you have it already, it's like, all right, it's embedded.
Yeah.
So those things are definitely important. And, I encourage people to, always do shadow work. That's what I call it, because it's like, the bright lights is on, the camera's on, the stage is on, and everything like that. And it's like, oh, I could easily be in front of that, but get those reps and understand what that preparation is like, because a lot of people can look at, oh yeah, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to do, X, Y, and Z, to be better, to be wiser and stronger and stuff. So I feel like it's a lot that people can, just with them do in due time and stuff. So
people are so scared at that, though. People are so scared to look in that mirror, because that's where the shadow work is, right? You're scared to look in the mirror and actually look at yourself and see what's going on with you, and facing that trauma and facing those insecurities and the stuff that's going on with you, and it's just like, that's where the growth is, though. That's where the beauty is. And it's so easy for somebody to say, well, I'm like this because of this, and this person treated me like this, and that's why I act like this. And it's like, yeah, of course, I mean, it's going to make you feel some certain type of way if somebody treats you bad or abuses you or whatever the case may be. Yes, absolutely. But we still have a choice. We don't have to sit in that pain. We don't have to sit in that trauma. You know, it's like you face it head on, you know, and you try to grow from that. And yeah, it's easier said than done, but you don't have to be miserable. You don't have to be hurt for the rest of your life. It's just that you just got to face these things head on and not be scared of it.
For sure. I think it's, and then I think even with that, right? Because I think that's a great segue into like social media.
Yeah.
Because social media, of course, we see highlights, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some of us, we don't post the day to day, like, okay, bet, you know, today I came up and another day I fell, another day I came up. We just post what people will want to obviously see.
Yeah.
So like living in this, you know, I'm popping in social media, and then of course like you have real life, right?
Yeah.
I guess how have you like balanced that? Because you know, like I said, like I'm a millennial, so it's different generations for
Yeah.
different people. But like I said, I remember coming up with the apps and seeing it from like the MySpace to the Facebook to the Twitter, of course, Instagram, TikTok, and Snapchat and all that.
Yeah.
And then you know you had the era where you know now is so much access. So like how do we kind of like utilize this and get a hold on it?
You got to take yourself outside of that space. First of all, you got to realize that social media really is just entertainment. People are not always going to be posting the bad moments. Yeah, you're going to see, you know, okay, they flashing trips and like money and I got this and I'm at this event and I met this person and I'm like, that's cool, right? But there's so much that goes on behind the scenes that people don't even see. And that's why you see some of the most happiest people will end up committing suicide. And you're like, whoa, like I see them on social media and they were just happy, but like you don't know those dark moments that's not on social media, and you have to get out of that space of comparison. And that's why I said like I focus on me. Like I don't want to focus on anybody else's life and what they have going on. And I'm always going to root for everybody. Like if you're happy, I'm happy for you. Like if you got this great opportunity, I'm happy for you. I want you to win because for me, I have so much faith in God and in the path that I walk that anything that's meant for me will never miss me. And if it's the opportunity that I wanted and I don't get it, I have the understanding that that wasn't meant for me to have the opportunity, and I fully accept that. So I don't have a reason to be jealous of anybody or envious of anybody. I'm just like, I look at all the people I know, especially like my close friends and family. Anytime they have a win, I'm just like, that's a win for all of us. You know what I mean? Like I love seeing my people win. I even love seeing strangers win because it's like, damn, that's dope. Like you did that. But people have to stop comparing themselves to other people's lives. You don't know what people go through. Cause like even myself, like I said, when, you know, you're going to look at my social media, you're going to see great things, but I had a lot of dark moments, especially when I decided to take that leap and get out of the 9-to-5 thing and just started to chase my passion. It was one of the most difficult things that I've ever been in my entire life. I remember one time that my bank account got all the way down to $11. I had to sell my charger. I loved my car. I had to sell my charger. I had to file bankruptcy. It was a lot. It was hard. And I remember crying. There was so many nights where I was just crying because I'm like, God, what am I doing? Like I'm trying, I'm grinding. It's not like I'm lazy. I don't just sit in the house and twiddle my thumbs and not do anything. You know what I mean? But I'm like, I don't know where I'm going and I'm starting to get scared. And this is different because I'm used to having so much money, you know? But something inside me just saying, just keep going. You're gonna be fine. And the crazy part about it is, I think I left my job in 2022. It was the last time I worked a 9-to-5, and I've never missed paying a bill.
Wow.
Never missed paying a bill. And I don't know how the hell I've been doing it. I mean, you know, I've just the side hustles and stuff like that. And I've had a lot of help. I have a really good support system, but like I've been able to maintain. I've been able to maintain, and I've been able to still do the things that I need to do to keep pushing forward. So it's just like I just continue to have that faith, and I know that God's got me, you know, because He keeps telling me, He's just like, just keep going, don't worry about it, just keep going. So that's all I've done.
Yeah, I think like when you just listen to what He tells you to do, like he's gonna send that support, he's gonna send that people.
Absolutely.
And I could be a testimony to that because it's like even starting like the brand, like I knew, you know, it was a mixtape at first, and people were like, whoa, it went from a mixtape to an actual podcast to an actual whole brand and everything like that. And then doing events after events, I'm like, okay, well, you put this on my heart to do, God gonna fund the vision. Like, and that's what I realized. Like I started this and I started meeting more people.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel like God was just telling me to do. Like yeah, start the podcast.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And then it
Yeah.
leads to everything else.
Yeah.
So you can't really question what God has for you. You just have to continue to do it. And sometimes it is surreal because you're like, wait, you picked me? Out of all people, you picked me?
Yeah.
We've been through a lot of things.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
was I really ready for this? And
Yeah.
you still was like, nope, you're
Yeah.
going to do it. What?
Because your ego will tell you that your ego will say, no, I can't do this. Like, that's the same thing. Because when I came to talk to the kids, that was really my message to them. I could have told them all the amazing things that I've done, right? Like the big name artists I work with and all the people I could have did that. But my thing was I wanted them to understand it's just like, look, I didn't really have a path or I didn't really know what I wanted to do. But I just know that every time I got presented an opportunity, no matter how many times or how much my ego would try to talk me out of it, and I'm like, I can't do this. Not me. This is not me. Like I'm scared. Like, no matter how much I wanted to not do it and just hide away from it or shy away from it, I just showed up.
Yeah.
I showed up every single time, and every single time I ended up showing up, it was like, oh, it wasn't that bad.
Right.
I was scared for nothing. I did all that like complaining and stressing out for nothing.
Yeah. Nah, I think because it's the level of transparency, and then it's like, what do I say?
Yeah.
Does it have to be perfect? And I think that, I had to battle that too, where it was just like, okay, like, nah, you don't have to be perfect to be amazing. Like, you just have to be yourself and just show up. And I feel like it's so hard because it's like everybody's trying to be somebody, but like God is like, nah, just be yourself.
Yeah.
Like, you are qualified through me.
Absolutely.
And like you said earlier in the conversation, it's like, okay, even with like the piece of paper not defining you or things like that, like I think a lot of people, like you said earlier, like comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We can't be doing that.
Yeah. And I would look back and I would be so worried about what people would think about me, and I got tired of doing that, but it was like that made me feel like I had to be perfect all the time. It was like, you got to be perfect. Make sure you're smiling, make sure you look good, make sure you lose weight, make sure and I'm like, I can't do this. I cannot do what everybody else wants me to do. Like, they're not living my life and they're not me. And if you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. Like, it's no love lost. I've also gotten to that point too. Like, people come and go in your life. And it's only because we're constantly, all of us are growing and evolving or staying stagnant. And that's just the life or the path that you're on. It's no judgment on which way you decide to go, but sometimes either you're going to grow with somebody or y'all going to go your separate ways, and you just have to learn to accept that sometimes, because that's just a part of life. Because like, if you're evolving to another level, sometimes if that person isn't like aligning with you in that way, they can't go to that level with you. And we get so attached to things and people, it's hard for us to let certain things go. It's like, you don't want to, right? You're like, no, this is my friend, this is my spouse or whatever, and but sometimes it's just not meant to happen that way.
Yeah.
And you can't be afraid.
Nah, I think you can't be afraid, and you have to also be intentional too. Like, the things that you are working towards, make sure you pray for.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like, okay, we just working, but did
Yeah.
I pray for this?
Yeah.
I didn't pray for this. So this joint came out of nowhere. So like, I don't even know how to handle it.
What part of my path is this?
Yeah,
bro?
exactly. Like, why is it a blurred line for me and all
Yeah.
these things? And I think that's why, direction is more important than speed. And I think for the social media space too,
Yes.
for people understanding that, like, you don't know what the year 1, the year 2, the year 3, the year 4, the year 5. People probably have businesses for, a decade plus or
Absolutely.
whatever it may be. So it's just like, yeah, your year 1 may not look like another person's year 1, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But you have to also ask yourself, like, what are the things I'm not doing, and take inventory of yourself, because a lot of people don't, do that. I used to just look at events and be like, okay, cool, I did this, but I've always set like goals. So some of my people are like, bro, like, just chill out, bro. Like,
Yeah.
why don't you take time
Yeah.
to celebrate yourself? I'm like, I do that, but as far as like the vision, and like, I don't know if y'all as locked in as I am right now, and it's okay, because sometimes distance is a response.
It is.
And some people have to realize that too, because it's
Yeah.
like, if I'm focused and I'm in my bag, like, I need y'all to know that.
And I've watched so many like different like videos and documentaries on like CEOs and millionaires, billionaires, right? And I'm listening to their stories, and a lot of them will tell the story about how they were homeless, they had no money, like they were kicked out of their house, like just they were down and out, and it was literally like the calm before the the not the calm before the storm, but it was like that before the breakthrough. It got really bad, and then all of a sudden that one thing hit and it just took off. So, it's just like, you can't let your circumstances make you feel like anything is impossible either. It's like you got to go through it.
Yeah, that's the only way that you grow, and is growth is uncomfortable. So it's like certain things that you have to tell yourself and all these things. So like, I guess in the space, how has networking been for you? Being able to, like, of course, do different things, meet different people. Like how has that been for you in the
Networking,
space?
especially in this area, is everything. Networking is everything. So it's just like every time like I'm at an event or, I'm hosting something and, I meet all different types of people, and, you never know what somebody does. So a lot of times like meeting people and they see you and they meet you and they're like, hey, I got this over here. I would love to see, can you, or I would love for you to meet such and such. Networking has absolutely gotten me pretty much everywhere everything that I've done has been because of networking, so.
That's dope. I feel like networking is definitely vital, and how to talk to people and
Yeah.
communication and things
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that. Because some people be like, man, okay, I see you on social media, but then it's like, okay, and you're out in public, you still got to shake people's hands.
Yeah,
You still got to
be
be
different.
able to, you still got to be able to be approachable, I think, and
Yeah.
and it pays dividends and in regards to all those things, because like I said, it has to add up, it has to make sense. So I always tell people, like, find ways to add value to situations, because the more valuable you are, of course, the more of an asset you'll become
Absolutely.
to anything. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, how can I help you? It's always going to be more important than what can I gain? And those go from like the pride and the ego thing. So it's just like, I feel like it's enough for everybody to win.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But also on the flip side, you got to be careful, because everything that glitters ain't gold, right? So you can't take on every single opportunity, because then you don't want to oversaturate yourself either, because you're like, oh, I see you everywhere. You on every podcast, you on everybody's event, you hosting everybody's show, so you want to be not picky, but just make sure you don't go after every single thing that comes your way.
Nah, for sure. I mean, I know you had said picky. I think, it's also being intentional and selective. I think, because it's like, all right, you realize how access to you will be a privilege.
Absolutely.
Right? So it's like, all right, everybody can't be around you, and it's okay.
It's like supply and demand. Yeah, you want to create that.
For sure. Yeah, nah, definitely. Because if not, then it becomes oversaturated. Like you said, everybody sees you all the time. You're doing this, and it's like, okay, well, I'm busy, but am I productive? And I think people get that confused too.
People lose the value of things that they have all the time. It's just like you see the shiny new toy, but then after a while you have it for so long, it's like, all right, it's not shiny anymore. What's the next new thing,
For sure. Yeah. And I think that's another thing too, is just understanding like the mindset too. Because I think a lot of the, like I said, the brands and things like that, like having long-term goals are important.
Yes.
Like, I gotta know where you're going. If I
Yeah.
don't know where you're going, I'm like, okay, if I'm hopping in the car, like, okay, my exit is over here. This ain't gonna last long. I don't know. So I just want to make sure, like, that's very, very important with like clarity and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
So like, throughout it all though, like, how is self-care for you? Because we get so busy, we get, we're busy, we're working, we're chasing our dreams, passion, and things like that. So like, what is the self-care process for you?
Self-care is very important for me at this point, because I do so much running around, and I meet so many different people. I'm around so many different energies, and I'm an empath. So like I can take in a lot of, I soak up a lot of energy. So I have to recharge. I definitely have to recharge. And so I make sure that, I protect my energy at all costs, and I pour into myself. Like, I like my alone time. I go sit by the water. I meditate. I just like doing things that's good for me, and even just me sitting in the house and laying in my bed with the TV off, self-care, because it's just like, now I appreciate the quiet. I really do.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I'm always around so much noise. So I like to, drive around with the music off and just enjoy being on the road.
That's what's up. I like, so for myself, I definitely like workout. I enjoy running a lot.
Yeah.
So like, running is very therapeutic. I'll run early in the morning, or just like jog, take that walk, listen to calm music, things like that. Or I'm always writing, or just like either reading books as well. I always feel like I can find ways to like learn just different things, whether it be like finance or business or things like that. Definitely getting more of my word as well. I feel like it's definitely important to have that armor. To have that armor of God on you. It's tough. It's rough out here.
I go
So
to
you
sleep
definitely
to
have to do something.
I fall asleep to healing frequencies every single night.
Okay.
Yeah, every single night I'll find one. I'll put on usually I'll put on YouTube on the TV, and then I'll find like a whatever frequency that I feel like I want to listen to that night, and I'll turn it on. And it's usually black screen because I can't have like the screen on with the bright lights and stuff like that. So it'll go dark, and I can still listen to the frequencies and go to sleep.
That's what's up.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's very, very important too, because rest is definitely important. I think a lot
Very.
of people neglect it in this hustle culture.
Yes.
Because we're like, oh yeah, man, you know what? I'm on the grind 24/7. I'm up 3 a.m, 4 a.m, and I think, at times, if you're a morning person, cool. If you're a night person, cool. If you wake up late, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like everybody has their own 24 hours how they maximize it, but I don't feel like, okay, if you don't do this by this, you know what I'm saying? Like, who's to know the result?
Yeah.
You just have to
Yeah.
figure out what works best for you
Yeah.
in that sense. So that's what I'm saying. Like for me, I wake up early in the morning, so I know for myself, I don't like seeing no laptops or doing no work after 9. It's just me.
Mm-hmm.
9 p.m.
Yeah.
I'm relaxing.
Turn
I'm
it all
feeling,
off. Yeah.
because it's too much.
Yeah.
I got all these tabs in my head. I need to shut them down
Yeah.
ASAP, like for real.
Yeah,
So-
I appreciate the stillness now, man. And
Yeah.
it's just like it helps me turn everything off, because like a lot of times I'll have so much going on in my head, and I just need to just, shut it down for a second so I can breathe.
Yeah. And I feel like being busy too and just being so available, it's like, yeah, sometimes you got to put yourself on D&D.
Yes.
And it'd be
Yeah.
hard sometimes because you're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
man, there's a lot of people counting on me.
Yeah.
A lot of people want to do
Yeah.
this. A lot of people want to do that. So,
But it's important.
Yes.
It's very important, because like they say, you can't pour into somebody else's cup if yours is empty.
yeah. Or like I said, if your tank is on E, you can't fill somebody else's up.
Yeah.
You still got to make sure that you're
Yeah.
good as well.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I guess like throughout it all now, as you kind of like are pivoting, like what are some things that, 2025 has, like revealed to you as you're, progressing in this space, like learning more and more daily, like.
I need to set more boundaries with myself and stick to them, because a lot of times, I don't know, it's not even necessarily people pleasing, but it's just, I'm always thinking about everybody else before myself. And I'm learning that, sometimes like boundaries need to be set, for my own peace. And that's just like in all aspects of life, and then it's just the beauty of the entire journey. Like I'm really appreciating it now. You know what I mean? Like I see the beauty in everything, even the bad times, the things that are like not so great for me, but it's just like now I just have a different perspective when I'm in those kind of situations. It's like, okay, what am I supposed to be learning from this? Because there's a reason why this is happening right now. What am I getting from this situation? And then just dealing with it from there, instead of like continuously getting stressed out and like, oh my God, why is this happening to me? I'm tired. It's just, all right, why is this happening?
Right.
And how can I make sure that this doesn't happen again?
Yeah.
So.
No, I agree. I feel like, celebrating the wins is definitely important. I know for me, I was just always like busy or always like goal oriented. That it's like, bro, you just got to chill out, like relax, like spend a day of like not really doing anything, or just doing something that you like, that your mind is not, racing off the anxiety or whatever it may be. Because, anxiety, like that's a thing also. So like, tapping into your mental health and understanding that. So that's why I'm like big on journaling and just trying to reflect and, okay, like if you map out your day and things like that, giving yourself the amplitude time, realizing who you are and how, like I said, the best ability is your availability.
Yeah.
So now I'm saying if you're not going to be available for it, it's like, yo, all right, what's going on? What's happening here? Things like that. And I know for myself and like what God is, telling me to do is like, all right, like if you're going to be somebody that's going to lead the next generation and really help these kids, sports terms, you're going to have to take a time out. Like you can't be everywhere. You know what I'm saying? You can't play every game. You got to be able to just be able to be on the sideline sometimes. You ain't got to be in the game all the time.
Yeah.
And just, that's something that is hard because sometimes it's like you want to be superhero to everybody.
I know.
But you got to be the superhero for yourself first
Yes.
before anything else. You know.
Yeah.
So and you know, for me, like watching like movies and stuff like that, because I love superhero movies. So I
Yeah.
watch Marvel movies
Yeah.
and DC movies. So
Yep.
I'd be thinking about that all the time. And I'm like, dang man, like Doctor Strange and wanting that time back. All right, cool.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so I watch movies differently now, especially like Doctor Strange when I'm looking at all that, because I'm like, so like the different, when they talk about like the different dimensions and
Yeah.
you know, like how time is not linear, so it's
Yeah.
like everything exists now, and that's why they tell you like there's no past, there's no future, it's only the present, it's only now, you know. So they tell you that's why it's important for you to just focus on what's happening at
Yeah.
this moment and don't worry about anything else. And they say depression comes from focusing on the past too much, and anxiety comes from focusing on the future. You know, so just focus on the present.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. And I feel like, you know, now as, you know, we get older and things like that, and we watch movies, we're like, wait, that really taught us that.
Yeah.
That taught us this.
Yeah.
Things like that. I
Yeah.
was having a conversation with one of my friends, like, it was like 2-3 weeks ago. And I was just like, bro, like, remember all those movies that we would watch, like, as kids, and now all of a sudden, like, we see it in fruition.
It's so many hidden gems in movies.
It is.
It like if you're like hip, if you're in tune, like you'll start looking at stuff and you're like, they've talked about this, like
Right.
even like the Flash, you know what I'm saying, like
Yeah.
he goes through all the different dimensions all the time, and
Yeah.
like the parallel dimension, and they said we're constantly shifting into different parallel realities, because like it just depends on what choice that you're making in that moment, because it's infinite,
Yeah.
like possibilities, right? It's infinite, so it's like you could go this way. There's a parallel universe of you where I'm already super rich, you know, and they say that mostly it's just you aligning with that reality. It's energy, everything is energy and frequencies. So you just literally just have to align with that reality. If that's the reality that you're into, like it really everything already exists right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree. And I think like some of the movies like that, you know, like The Boys in the Hood, The Paid in Full, and all these
Yeah.
other movies, like they taught us different things. So I was
Uh-huh.
like, as I watch them now, I'm like, okay, that's what it was really about. Because you watch it at first, you're like, dang, man, like that's all we focused on. But then it's like, no, it's a bigger picture.
Yeah.
And then you have
Yeah.
the crabs in the barrel mentality. You have all of these things, and then we see it over and over and over and over again. It's like, okay, where's the reset, the recharge, the revamp, the refocus to understand the bigger picture? Obviously,
But I think society is just built for everybody to, it's always a competition with each other, you know, and the only person you should be competing with is yourself. It's like you should be working on you being a better person. Again, like anything that's for you, everything exists now. You have the ability to have whatever you want. Nobody else has anything to do with that. You know, somebody else getting the job that you wanted has nothing to do with you not being able to get a better job, or, you know, being that opportunity. Like it's you.
yeah,
It
Yeah.
really is you. We are the only thing that holds us back from anything, and it's our mentality and the way that we think.
yeah. And I think that, you know, like I said, that healing part is important, because I think sometimes a lot of us be like, okay, yeah, we've been damaged, we've been hurt. Are we willing to heal? Are we willing to have the conversations? Are we willing to do the work? Because it takes a lot of work. I
Yeah.
can just sit here and be angry and complain and stress, like you said earlier, but it's like you are what you say,
Yeah.
and it's big and important off that.
And people get triggered by certain things. Like if you call somebody insecure, and I say this because I used to be that way, you know, but like they're like, I'm not insecure. I don't have those problems. Yes, you do. It's not a bad thing though. Like now it's just acknowledging it and then trying to figure out what is it that triggers you to feel that way. Like what is it about this certain thing that makes you insecure? And working on it. I'm not gonna say fix it, because I don't want to feel like anybody's broken, you know what I mean? But it's just working on yourself
Yeah,
to become better, so that these things don't trigger you, so you don't feel these things. Because anything that deals with greed, jealousy, envy, anger, denial, anything negative, that's all ego. It's all ego. And a lot of people are driven and live in their ego. In society, we're very ego driven
yeah,
with everything that we do, and that takes us away from living in our heart space and following our intuition and being like, you know, who we're really supposed to be.
yeah. Definitely, I definitely agree with that. And I think even like in the space, what I'm learning a lot is like, you know, you are qualified in every space. Like,
Yes.
bro, like you qualified. Like, stop playing around. Like, sure, you can meet different people that may be in like higher positions or higher ranks or whatever it is, or they've been doing the work longer than you, X, Y, and Z. But who's to say you're not qualified? Who's to say I didn't tell you that you can't do that? So I learned so much from it and build from it. And I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, cool. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
go time. It's ready
Yeah.
to rock.
Yeah.
Ready to rock.
Absolutely.
So I'm learning a lot as well, and boundaries is important too, because I think about it as like everybody has eyes, but everybody doesn't have your vision, and you have to be cool with that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and
They're not gonna
it's
get
a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you're like, dang, bruh, you know. We talked about this years ago. Now all of a sudden it's like happening, and it's like, oh, you're not ready.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, well, everybody not meant to hop in the car.
No, not at all. That's okay. It's okay. You just gotta follow your, your dream and your passion. You gotta keep doing what you're doing because that's all that matters. And ultimately, like wherever you're gonna go, whoever's gonna be there with you, they're gonna be there.
Facts. I agree. So like, what is one thing that, like, as far as like the advice to like everybody out there, and like, what would you tell your younger self as well?
To not be afraid to be yourself. Don't be afraid to be yourself, and take chances. Take the chances, and like I said, just keep showing up. Keep showing up. Authentically be yourself. That was the most important thing that I would say.
Yeah.
Authentically be yourself.
Yeah, I feel like you know, you gotta just tell yourself like your foundation is key. You know, I know for the youngins out there, you know, a lot of youngins play video games all day, rather it be like the Fortnite, the GTA, COD,
Yeah.
2K, the new Madden that just dropped and all of that. I would tell kids like build your character. Like, you know what I'm saying, realize that, you know, you are dope, you are a vibe, you're amazing. So what characteristics would you want to have in your character, and build your character regardless of what it looks like?
Because each and every one of us have something to offer the world, and then it's like it might be just the people that you come in contact with, but you just never know how much of an impact you can have on somebody if you are always holding yourself back, because you never know who might need your energy.
Facts. I definitely agree with that too. It'd be certain days be like, man, I needed to hear that. And I'm like, well, I'm just walking in what I
Yes.
needed to say.
Yeah,
or like,
yeah.
dang, okay, like, thank you for posting that.
Yeah.
Or thank you, X, Y, and Z. And that's like, I feel like the light is so needed in the world that wherever you are, like, don't dim it.
Yeah.
Like, don't dim it at all.
Yeah.
And don't feel bad about it at all.
Because there's certain things like being vulnerable, especially on the internet, is something that was not that anything that I would ever do. And I made a video one day because it just was on my heart to do it. It was like God was telling me to just make this video, and I was like, I made a video just telling my story, and just letting people know, like, everything that you see on social media, like, I've had a lot of dark moments. Like, so it was my first time actually saying this out loud in front of, like, people on the internet, all my followers, and I just put it out. And it was kind of hard for me because I'm always afraid to show people that side. I don't, like I said, I always wanted to be perfect, so showing that I have down moments and bad moments, I wasn't comfortable with that. But I actually put that video out, and I got so many DMs from people was just like, oh my God, like, it was so refreshing to hear that from you, because like we look at your social media and you just look like you have everything together, and like, that's such a good story, and we're proud of you. And I'm like, I didn't expect it. I really did not expect to hear all these people say that. They were like, we really needed to hear that. Like, that really changed my perspective on things, and like, thank you so much for putting that message out. And I was like, dang, I didn't think that many people would even think anything of it.
Right.
But yeah, it made a difference. I was like, oh, okay. So I see you, God.
Yeah, that's how it is.
I see what you're doing.
Yeah, that's how it is. And it's very like, just let them use you. Like I said, at first when I looked at social media and I was, just in this comparison mode, like, all right, but I'm just doing this, and it's like, oh yeah, what are you trying to do it for? Is it about impact? Is it about followers? So God really sat me down. He like, okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, JFlow 301, that was your first page, right? And it's like, boom. Okay, boom, got the 1,000 followers. I felt great. Then all of a sudden it's like, oh, you think it's about the followers? Okay, I got something for you. Boom, know what I'm saying? One of the followers was like, yo, man, vote for me, X, Y, Z. Click the link. Page gone.
Oh,
Whole page was gone. Had to rebuild the page over there again.
Oh my
JFlow
gosh.
301 MD. Boom, rebuild the page. You still gonna be obedient? You still gonna do those motivational videos?
Yeah.
Oh, you're not popping anymore, huh?
Uh-huh.
Okay, X, Y, Z. Still did it. Multiplied it 10 times.
Yeah,
Both.
see?
So
Yeah.
it's just more so being obedient and understanding that it's not about likes and views. It's about the needs and the want.
Yes.
Are you going to steward the things that I gave you
Yes.
and give? Because like I said, God wants the glory. Obviously, is just are you going to be humble enough to give it to Him?
Are you gonna follow that path?
Are you gonna follow the path?
This is what I have you here doing. This is what you came here to do.
Facts.
You
Yeah.
know,
So
so-
when people see it, it's like, dang. And then it's like you said, honestly, even on social media as well, it's like some people be like, dang, bro, he's so energetic, X, Y, and Z. He got everything together. Like, that'd be therapy for myself, for real.
Mm-hmm.
So when people see the motivational videos, like, yeah, it's therapy for myself.
Yeah.
It keeps me going too.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
well, this was a great conversation.
Yeah. I
It felt
appreciate
therapeutic. It felt therapeutic.
Oh, I'm happy.
Yeah, it felt therapeutic. It felt like, yeah, it was a good, healthy sit down as well. So, like I said, I'm rooting for you.
Yeah,
Like I
thank
said, I appreciate you for, pulling up, sharing your story, pulling up and letting the kids know about your story as well and who you are. And I feel like the best is yet to come as far as what God is doing. Like, just keep letting them use you and writing those chapters and just realizing that He's the director and you the actor.
Yeah.
And whatever it is in this
Yeah.
world that He's created for us.
Yeah, and keep showing your energy and giving your energy to people, man. Like it's from day one, your energy has been so amazing, and like I love seeing what you're doing with all the kids and everything, and like just keep doing what you're doing.
For sure.
Yeah.
Definitely will. So, like I said, we just gonna keep elevating and we're gonna keep growing. And with that being said, y'all, the harder you grind, the bigger you dream. The harder you grind, the bigger you dream. The harder you grind, the bigger you dream. I said the harder you grind, the bigger you dream. And we out.
Soundstripe.